and we are back with another edition of Disaster Survival Magazine's Weekly Radio.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists, get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are portable and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Hi, everyone. This is James from Disaster Survival Network. Today we have the pleasure of interviewing Mike Slack. Mike, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic. The weather in the Ozarks is beautiful today, 70 degrees.
Awesome. Mike is the founder of Preppers and Patriots Network, and he also does the Preppers and Patriots Expos. To find out more information, you can go to preppersandpatriots.net, and that page is being updated to reflect an upcoming expo that we're going to be talking about. Mike, if you wouldn't mind, if we could start off, just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into preparedness and doing expos and all the cool things you're doing now.
Sure. Well, I'm originally from Missouri, from the Ozarks. Lived a lot of other places, but I always kept coming back. My living as a writer. And about 10 years ago, my wife and I decided to move from the metro area we were living in a little bit south, right on the Missouri-Arkansas border. Buy a small farm, start to raise our own livestock, have a huge garden, try to raise most of our own food, and be as self-reliant as we could. Over the course of coming down here, my wife felt a need, she was a retired teacher, to teach classes and try to teach people some of the skills that they used to learn from their grandparents and didn't anymore. Gardening, canning, dehydrating. We'd have guest speakers come in on things like beekeeping and honey. And over the course of that, we got involved with some folks putting on something called the Go Green Festival. And by the second festival, we'd really kind of started to organize and manage it ourselves with help from a few friends. And anyone who's been to a Prepper Expo, okay, just imagine a Prepper Expo but held outside, combined with a county fair. That's really kind of what we do there, and it's all free in the city park of the town I live closest to, Thayer, Missouri. And we average around 3,000 people attending the two-day event. The next one will be October 17th and 18th. Well, we started doing this, and again, this will be the 8th one coming up. And along the way, I began to also promote the Prepper Expos, seeing a need in a lot of towns within the area. But once a year, we always do the Go Green Festival. We renamed it Go Green Self-Reliance Festival to make it a little more clear what we were doing. Some folks immediately thought of Al Gore and hugging trees. Now, I like trees. I don't hug them, but, I like them. But we were really pushing some of the positive aspects of the green movement, but with the self-reliance aspect that folks here, hillbillies have always had. They've always taken care of themselves. They've always been prepared for disasters. And we're very much into alternative fuels, renewable fuels. But, Solyndra proved there are a lot of crooks out there in politics. And doesn't mean solar energy is bad. It means you just need to learn how to do it yourself or get with a small company that can do it for you. Alcohol as a fuel or biodiesel, those are great whenever you can do it yourself or get with a small farmer. And that's really kind of how that developed. But, we also wanted to really promote our local economy. I always tell people that if you spend $1 in the little town near us, it's going to go to 10 or 12 other small towns before it leaves the area. Keep circulating and helping the economy. But if you're going to go to some of the big box stores around here, you're going to spend your $1 and it's going to go straight to China. Now, I'd much rather see it circulate locally and help out some of the local businesses. So we really encourage, encourage local businesses to come on out. And then we've had an awful lot of volunteers come in to help us out setting up games for the kids, some old-fashioned type games. One of the really popular ones actually is called Money in a Hay Bale. We take a couple of square bales of hay and insert about $50 worth of coins in those bales, and we let kids just tear the hay to pieces and keep whatever money they find. And usually one of the local banks will sponsor that, provide us with the coins. And have a lot of musicians. This area in the Ozarks is famous for bluegrass music, country and western music, a lot of gospel music. And we have an awful lot of volunteer musicians who are really, really good, who come out and perform all day long. One local family, very proud of their Scottish heritage, demonstrates Scottish country dancing, which is kind of different. You know, it's really neat to see, especially if you're into history. And you know, they definitely have great skills. Have all kinds of other folks who volunteer, and educational institutions. For instance, Crowder College, which is in Neosho, Missouri, they have an alternative energy degree program. And their students built an electric race car that is solar powered. And a few years ago, this race car built by students at a 2-year college beat a similar race car built by MIT students in a national race.
Wow.
And, well, they bring it out to most of our festivals and display it and let people know about their programs. And, you know, on other vehicles, we have a couple of different folks who have pickup trucks powered by wood gasification, which basically means you burn firewood in a boiler, and the gas from the firewood is used to power your truck. No gasoline or diesel required. You're running it on firewood. And, you know, every time these guys come out, there's always a crowd of 50 or more people around the truck all day long constantly. People are just fascinated by this. Wood gasification is something that was used during World War II when there were gasoline shortages in Europe and in Asia, Australia. But they've kind of updated this old technology to make it more efficient. And another university close to us, Missouri State, actually has a degree program in alternative energy that concentrates on wood gasification. So one of the professors always comes out with a small generator he has that will burn firewood, reburn the gas it makes, and use that to generate electricity. And it is efficient enough to pass EPA specifications to be used indoors without ventilation, which to me is amazing. And, well, and I guess while we're on the energy vein, a fellow named Mike Brown, his website is MikeBrownSolutions.com, to give him a little plug. He's a bit of an eccentric genius. I think he'd admit to both. And he was the first fellow I knew of who was writing about making your own ethanol alcohol as fuel for gasoline engines back in the 80s. Pardon me. And today he is manufacturing 2 different products. One is a small steam engine. Again, it burns wood or coal and generates electricity. You can power your whole house on it, or use it as a backup system if you have solar and you don't think it's going to be snow or sunny enough one day, or if you have wind turbines and the wind stops. Start your generator, charge your batteries, and you're good to go. And he also makes something called the Fish carburetor. And this is a different kind of carbureting system that he says increases the fuel mileage you'll get on an older vehicle that uses a carburetor instead of fuel injection. Take an old Dodge Dart from the 60s, from 20 miles a gallon, which was common with that, up to 50 or 60. Or a Volkswagen that would get, say, 30, take it up to 80 or 90 miles per gallon.
Wow. That's significant.
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. And I know he has been on several national radio programs. I heard him on Coast to Coast AM at one point talking about his carburetor and also steam engines. And he's going to bring samples, demos of both, and speak on the technology and let people take a look at them. So, I'm anxious. I'm getting really excited, actually.
Okay,
now,
and Mike, where exactly, what dates? And let's just get a plug in for that, and then we can keep going on with the good stuff. But let's make sure we cover that. Where and when is the Go Green?
October 17 and 18, and that's a Saturday, Sunday weekend. And it's in the city park of Thayer, Missouri, Thayer, Thayer. Now, if you're not familiar with Missouri, it's the south central part of the state, and the park is 1 mile from the Arkansas border. If you were to Google it or MapQuest it, Thayer is right next to Mammoth Spring, Arkansas, 20 miles south of West Plains, Missouri. That's about a 2-hour drive from Springfield, 4 hours from St. Louis, 3 hours from Memphis, Tennessee, or about an hour straight up from Jonesboro, Arkansas. So anyone who is within a reasonable drive really should try to make it. In fact, I know last year I was talking to some folks who did come specifically from Nashville, Tennessee, which is about 5 hours, for the festival. Some other folks who came down from St. Louis and Idaho and Chicago area. So a lot of folks consider it, worth a little travel. And again, the event is totally free. For those who want to stay the weekend and are campers, there's a lot of free camping available here and very low price camping. And then we have several nice hotels and motels in the area.
That's one thing that I was really impressed about, is that not only are the visitors, it's free to get in, but also you're letting vendors set up tables for free. Is that correct?
From the very beginning, it's always been free to be a vendor. We have expenses to put it on. We try to cover those by selling sponsorships to local businesses and even some from out of the area. Put ads for them in the program with the schedule of speakers. And then we also do a raffle, a silent auction of some items that are donated by various vendors, including some who cannot be there in person but send items. And then we'll pass a bucket around with the vendors and those that are able and can make a donation at the end of the day. Usually when we add it all up, we have just about enough to cover the cost.
Excellent.
Pardon me. And I'll give a little plug here for a couple of really good vendors who always make donations.
That's what I was just going to ask if you wanted to do. Excellent.
Well, Marjorie Wildcraft, who has the website GrowYourOwnGroceries.com. Marjorie is the Martha Stewart of survival food. And she has always sent, several copies of her DVD, GrowYourOwnGroceries.com. And it's well worth the price. I think it's $20, $25 to buy. And, I've bought a lot and given them to friends. It's fantastic. But Marjorie's always been a big supporter of what we're doing here. And then, I got a call this last week from Texas Ready, an heirloom seed company in Texas. We are a little bit too far for them to make it, but they are going to be major sponsors, helping us out a bit with some of our advertising costs. And they are sending one of their $150 seed banks that we'll be doing a silent auction on. And, we'll be getting more. And if anyone's listening who has a business and they want to help out a good cause, they can give me a call. And let me drop that phone number, 417-264-2435. 417-264-2435.
Excellent. Okay, and what we'll do is we'll plan on having you on another podcast before the expo, probably the beginning of the second week of October. We can talk more about the sponsors you have on board. Now, again, if you would list your web page, and if you have a Facebook page and a Twitter account, any social media you might have.
Well, I'd suggest you just go onto Facebook and up in your little search bar put Go Green Festival, and it will pop up, or Go Green Sulphur Lands Festival, or Go Green Ozarks.
Okay.
And pretty active Facebook page there. And then we have a website, and of course everything here is a volunteer effort. And as we speak, at the moment, this website is not active, but it should be within a couple of days.
Okay.
So go ahead and try that if you'd like. GoGreenSelfRelianceFestival.com. GoGreenSelfRelianceFestival.com. No hyphens in there, just all one word.
Okay, excellent. And we'll push things from a social media end. I know that one of your volunteers just recently did a blog post about the festival, and I'll get a hold of that and put it on our Facebook page and spread it around. So that's what's coming up in the near future. Do you have any long-term plans or goals that?
Well, right now for the Preppers and Patriots Expos, we're looking at several different cities and different locations, and I'm hoping by the end of the Go Green Festival, we should have locations picked for the next 2 or 3 expos. Be able to update the website and list those and start getting things booked. And pardon me. The last 2 we've done were both, very well attended, very successful, and I was quite happy with them. One of them was last year in August in Springfield, Missouri, and I was tickled to death with the way everything went with that. That was one that we actually did on the suggestion of some of the Go Green vendors, who said they thought there was a need there, and give a shout out here actually to Mike Knox at White Harvest Seed Company. A lot of folks may know him, and part of this was his idea. And then we did one at the end of May in Mountain Home, Arkansas, and that also was very well attended. Some of the speakers that we have at Go Green are also some of the speakers that come to the expos. Dr. Jim Caesar, who works with survival medicine, will be there. He always comes. White Harvest Seed Company will be there. I believe Down to Earth Seeds in Yellville will be there. Doreen Hannes, who is a very well-known activist for food freedom, will be there, and she'll be speaking on a couple of things, including GMOs and some of the dangers inherent in them, and also some of the medical benefits that they've discovered in cannabis. There are efforts in a lot of states, I know, to, at least for medical purposes, legalize, use of cannabis. And they have varieties they grow now that don't even have the THC in them. They just have some of the other things in there that are medicinal and really good for you. And she will be talking. We have a lady who works in holistic pain relief, something called the Bowen method of pain relief, which was kind of new to me, and I'm anxious to learn more about it. And then, let me see. Well, just today I had a lady call with a company that teaches Tai Chi. I had a lady call with a local honey manufacturer, family farm with an awful lot of beehives and bees. And I actually had some of her honey for breakfast this morning. Have a vendor that called the other day that does deer processing, which is, again, something very important in the Ozarks. We have more deer than people down here. A couple ladies called who have homemade items. They crochet items for children, have hair bows, etc. Another lady called yesterday who makes bird feeders. The animal shelter at the nearest town comes out. They'll try to find homes for several dogs and cats that they have.
Excellent.
I was just looking through here, businesses that work with, T-shirts, quilt making. One fellow who has a still makes his own alcohol for fuel. I suppose he could make it for drinking also if he wanted, but he makes it to use instead of gasoline. The Friends of the National Rifle Association called, and they're going to be out here doing raffles for several different firearms. And our local ham radio club will be out. They give classes at no charge whatsoever to help people get their amateur radio license. And they're going to be raffling off an AR-15. And I know we have people listening in every state you can think of, and some places have friendlier, more gun-friendly laws than others. In Missouri and Arkansas, this is very common. A lot of people raise funds for nonprofit organizations with raffles. And they tend to be guns, and whenever you got an AR-15 involved, those are popular. People are going to be buying a lot of tickets.
It's the most popular weapon in America.
It is. And we've got a fellow coming out who works with aquaponics, and I'm anxious to see the system he has. It seems to be a little more advanced, and he says a little more efficient than some of the others that I've seen. And I've always had an interest in that, so we're definitely going to take a look. Michael's Nursery, which is a local business, is going to come out with some perennial plants and herbs, things that work well for the fall. What he brings just depends on the time of year and what's going to work best. Those who have heard of Common Core in education, we have Dr. Mary Burns coming, who is an expert in that field, and she will explain it and get rid of some of the confusion with people. We have a couple of local writers groups and several authors in the area who will be coming out. Let's see. There are two other local beekeepers who are coming out with honey. We have, food vendors ranging from one company that does organic salads and wraps and things like that to another that will sell hamburgers, and the beef comes from their cattle raised on their farm, grass-fed, no chemicals used whatsoever, no medicines, some of the healthiest, leanest beef you're ever going to find. And we're going to have some of the more traditional carnival-type foods. You can actually get a corn dog or cotton candy. And if you want an ice cream cone, we have, a local company called Spring Dipper that makes what I think is the finest homemade ice cream I've ever had in my life. So, it's worth the drive for the ice cream cone.
I saw a picture of them, of some of the information you sent me. And then just for the people listening, as you'll see in the description of the post, we'll have a listing of these different vendors. And again, this is the Go Green Self-Reliance Festival in Thayer, Missouri, October 17th and 18th, Saturday and Sunday. Saturday it's 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Sunday it's 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and it's in the Thayer City Park by the Rodeo Arena in Thayer, Missouri. So, Mike, is there anything else you'd like to say to our listeners before we wrap this up? And we will have you back on, of course, again before the expo.
Well, definitely, if there are any businesses out there that benefit from being in things like prepper expos, please consider coming on out. Again, free admission, and we have the entire city park, so we have no shortage of vendor space. Bring your own table, your own chairs, but you can use just as much space as you possibly need, and everyone is welcome. So anyone who wants to be a vendor or wants more information, please feel free to call me, 417-264-2435.
And is there an email, Mike, that they could reach you at?
Sure, that is Mike, M-I-K-E, 65807 at yahoo.com. Mike 65807 at yahoo.com.
Excellent. Okay, well, we look forward to having you on again. And again, this is James from Disaster Survival Network. We've been talking with Mike Flack of the Self-Reliance Self-Reliance Festival coming up this October 17th and 18th in Thayer, Missouri. Thank you very much for listening, and if there's any questions, you can either call Mike or leave a message on our post, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. Thanks, everyone, for listening.
Thank you, James.